Hello, everyone. I'm going to dive right in and reveal the purpose of this speech today, inviting all to question your own role and responsibility as an HEC graduate in the transformation of our system towards sustainability. I know what you're thinking, an alarming topic for a tough crowd. Challenge accepted, let's go. You already know about the dramatic consequences of climate change, so I won't talk about that today. Instead, I'd like to relate my personal experience coming into a career in sustainability. After a few months of carefree campus life at HEC, I felt deeply upset, realizing that the careers it was leading me to were the main cause of this environmental collapse. I discovered at the same time the mechanisms of financial markets and the huge amounts of money that kept financing fossil fuels. I learned about both marketing theories and the negative impacts of overconsumption and greenwashing. I saw the same companies at the career fair and in polluters' ranking. And yet, despite this distress, I felt part of a whole movement, including le Manifeste étudiant pour un réveil écologique and its 30,000 signatories. The creation of HEC Transition and its 3,000 members. Other students in other graduation ceremonies mobilizing their own classmates. The people who helped me with this speech, and now my own colleagues at work. I chose a career in sustainability to embrace this collective movement. It gives me strength daily, it calms my eco-anxiety, and it increases my conviction that the more we work in that direction, the faster we move forward. Global warming isn't binary. We'll never be able to check a box and say, did we save the world, yes or no? It's a continuous evolution, and it's determined by each piece in the system. Internship after internship, our two promotions entered the professional world, becoming one of these cogs, un des rouages du système. First, there are the business as usual people, who believe that climate change is just one issue among others, and that it's not really their jam. Then there is the broad spectrum of those who are aware of the problem and question their personal impact, but keep their jobs and go on with their lives feeling a bit guilty. And then there are those who try to go all the way in this necessary shift. Each of these cogs drives the system and the ecosystems. This is simply the reality of our professional world for the next 40 years. So the question is, which will you be? In these decades of professional life, we have the opportunity to make history, to stop perpetuating a financial and commercial system that goes way beyond planetary boundaries, to stop that spiral that will affect humanity for centuries to come. But how can we go all the way in this commitment when the very name of HEC is the incarnation of power in the system as it is? This brand image can make us look like imposters. And yet, this is precisely where our strength is. HEC opens many doors for us. It's our responsibility now to use those open doors to change the rules. It's our responsibility to show that the confidence we've gained here, all the things that would allow us to be at the top of the system, will be used to deeply transform it. If we have truly learned to dare, then we will dare to rethink our growth model, dare to radically transform our organizations right away, with ambition, with scientific evidence, with transparency, without lying, and without embellishment. Let's take advantage of our degree, let's take advantage of our networks because we can have more impact than anyone in our generation. Let's embrace this role without compromising. Our conditions will be tough but necessary. We cannot be satisfied with weak decisions to ease our conscience. We cannot rely entirely on technology. We cannot accept that the biodiversity impact of a project remain confined to the number of beehives in an ICSG report. These high ambitions may feel out of reach, I know, but the process has already started. HEC has already launched a curriculum review, including the administration, professors, students, and alumni. Investors are finally starting to pick projects based on their environmental impact. Organizations are finally starting to work together with suppliers, NGOs, customers, to reduce the impact of their value chain, at last accepting their collective responsibility. It's now up to us to accelerate these first baby steps. And what better challenge than to invent new, sober, sustainable, circular solutions to such complex issues? I'm telling you personally, working in this sector and avoiding false good solutions is the most stimulating environment in which I have ever evolved. It's a daily source of pride. This path may be chosen by just a few HEC rebels today, but it must and will become mainstream tomorrow. Now, on to the parents, managers, alumni, and to all those who might think we don't have enough experience to really understand. Don't leave us to face these challenges alone. Climate and biodiversity are not reserved to your children. Learn about it. Tackle it. Let's upskill together. And if you are already in positions of power in which we could be one day, transform your companies today, because every ton of CO2 matters. Actions already exist, and they can be implemented now. In conclusion, fellow H20 and H21 graduates, I would like to thank you in advance. Thank you to the entrepreneurs who will create truly sustainable options for individuals and companies. Thank you to the bankers and investors who will redirect capital flows away from fossil fuels and towards sustainable projects. Thank you to the accountants who will change their norms to transform the mere perception of what has value. Thank you to all employees and consultants who will refuse to work on ecocidial missions and to fly out for one business meeting. Thank you to the communicators who will decisively refuse greenwashing and choose to inform people with transparency. Thank you to the PhD students and researchers who will explore new models of sober and prosperous degrowth. Thank you to the teachers who will educate their students so that they can no longer ignore the problem. Thank you to the politicians who will implement strong and restrictive regulations. And finally, thank you to the activists, the deserters, who will push the limits of what is considered extreme to better inspire us into action. Chaque rouage en entraîne un autre. Every cog drives the system, and you can be one of them. Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Merci pour ton discours, Anne-Fleur. J'espère que tes mots résonneront en chacun d'entre nous et se traduiront surtout en actions concrètes.